Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm gonna do my stats for August 2020. I'm a little late on this month because I forgot to do this last week. I did think about it and then it like never happened anyway, so I'm getting back into the swing of things and I'm a little late. Anyway, so I'm gonna go through my trusty little list of my stats and talk about how my reading went for August. So August was my highest reading month. It is typically a month I read a lot in with just, I don't know, for some reason August is one of my high months. Like April is always one of my low months. I don't know, there's something about it. I'm not sure. But this year I had a week vacation as well, so that really boosted my numbers. I was able to read quite a few books during that week. And then I read a lot anyway, so it was really a good reading month for me overall. So anyway, and once I get through my stats, then I'll go through all the readathons I did, because again, I did do 5 or participated in 5, and how well I did on those. So, so my stats start out as how many books did I finish? I finished 19 new to me books. So that's pretty good for me. Overall, my total is 24. So that tells you my rereads. But I mean, 24 books is awesome. Like, it's very rare that I get over 15. So the fact that I read 24 books or things during August is pretty much telling you why it's one of my best reading months. Anyway, so 19 of those were new to me. How many of the books were physical? 15 of those books were physical, 1 was an ebook, and 3 were audiobooks. So that's pretty typical for me for audiobooks and ebooks. Ebooks, again, as I said, as much as I own several, like hundreds probably of ebooks, I don't read them that much. So anyway, I need to work on that. I read 2 graphic novels during the month. 1 was a manga and 1 was a graphic novel that I counted as one of the books read because it was a memoir. So it's kind of different. Normally I just have graphic novels or manga that I don't count so much, but this month one of them does count towards the main total. How many rereads? I had 5 altogether. 4 were novellas that I'd read before previously, and one of them was another reread. So pretty much is that typical? Yeah. Anyway, I had a high reading month, so of course I had a high reread month. But here's the funny thing is, I did not DNF anything. So normally I DNF 1 to 3 books a month like that this month. This year is definitely showing that. I don't remember if I need to go back and look. I don't remember if last year I tracked my DNFs, but this year I've been tracking them just to see how it goes. And some months I DNF a lot and some not so much, but this month I didn't DNF anything. The 3 books that I had paused on during the month, I came back to and finished either in August or September. So I did pretty good on this one, so there was no DNFs. So no absolutely hated book, if that helps. How many books were on my TBR this month? I put 4 books on my TBR. And 3 of them I read. 1 of them I decided to postpone. So because it was for one of the readathons, I didn't quite feel like reading it. So I decided I'll read it another month. Anyway, so how many books that I finished that were off my shelf? 8 of them were owned books. 6 of them came from the library. And 1 of them I borrowed from my mom that I'd had for over a year that I finally read and gave back to her. So that was how the 15 books, the physicals, came out. So pretty good, but still more library books than I probably should have, except for one of the readathons, I got a lot of options from the library like I always do every August. So, And then how many books was I still reading by the end of the month? You know, when it transferred over, you know, so what was I currently reading? I technically had 4 books on my currently reading. 1 of them had been abandoned early in the month, which again is one of the ones that, it's not a DNF because I still want to read it, but it's one I might be another couple months before I get back to, but it's still out there. I guess so. It's not, but it's for now, and it's not a DNF forever. And then 3 of them I was currently reading as the month went through. crossed over. So it was a weird one. Anyway, I don't usually have 4, but And then how many books did I read this? Did I buy this month? So, okay. I read 19 new things, 24 total. I bought 19 books. That was not the plan, but I spent a lot of money in August because I did not go away for vacation. I had extra spending money for books, so I spent it on books. So I did buy 19 books during the month. How many did I read? Or how many are now on my TBR? So 17 were added to my TBR. One of them I had previously read, and the other one I read during this month, or during August. So not a great percentage. Oh well. So pages read for the month was 6,083 pages. That again is my highest number, I believe, this month, or this year. I've not come even close to that. I think I haven't got into the 5,000. I'll have to go back and look, but I know for sure that I sorry, I just washed my hair. Anyway, I know it's one of my highest months. I'm pretty sure in a while. So that was pretty good. My average pages per day is 196.2. So to me, that is fantastic. Again, my goal is always to get at least 50 pages per day on average. Anything I get above that is happy. I love it when I'm over 100, which doesn't happen every month. But this month I was nearly at 200. So that was really good for me. That's, I mean, for me. My star ratings. So I had 3 5-star books, 11 4-star books, and 5 3-star books. So again, these are just all the new to me books. I didn't rate any of the rereads, of course. So it's pretty average for me that 4s are pretty high, but really I read a lot of really good books that were just not quite 5s. I had a couple that crossed over into the 5s, but they also weren't like outstanding 5s, like perfect, but they were all still really good. So my reading month was very solid. If I had 11 4-stars, so that means I enjoyed most of the month. I mean, again, I had 5 3-stars, and I didn't rate anything 2, although one was really close, which I'll get to at the end. So the genres I read both in my reread and read. So this is where I do combine the numbers. I had 4 nonfiction histories. I had 6 paranormal romances. I had 2 fantasies, 9 contemporaries. This is the only month you'll ever see a number like that ever, which I'll get to. 2 memoirs and 1 middle grade. So, you know, I did have some of my favorite were up there, except for contemporaries is kind of the one that throws the average, but it always happens on this month. Anyway, so favorite book of the month. I have 2 books that I'm going to say for my nonfiction that I read. I read Flight 232 by Lawrence Gonzalez. This was just heartbreaking and it was really written very well overall. So again, this is one of my 5-star reads that was not like a super high 5-star read, but it was so, it hit me, you know, emotionally a lot. So I did give it a 5 because I thought it was really well done for what it did. And I said, I have like a couple little quibbles, but really overall it was such a good, interesting experience to read about this. And then the other one was Secondhand Time, The Last of the Soviets by Slavana Ilekovic. So I read this. I listened to it on audio because I was trying to get more stuff read at the time. This is translated by Bella Shalevic. And I've read all of Slavana Ilekovic's books now that, you know, that we have. So this was the last one I needed to read to finish up everything I had. So this again is about stories taken from the late 80s into the early 2000s and how people coped through that time period in around where the USSR was and the way the countries were breaking up and in different areas. So it was very heartbreaking. Again, it's oral history, so it just shows mostly what the person is telling their story. You just see their side of the story, and it's I just love her nonfiction oral histories. So anyway, that was again a great book. And then my most disappointing read, as I said, I did not DNF anything. I have again one that was again I said as a going to be later, so it's not a Total DNF. But the book I was the most disappointed in and was almost a 2, but I did bump it up to a really low 3 in my head, was Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarska. This was translated by Antonia Lloyd-Jones. So I think it's because I went into this partially knowing what I was getting into, but also not. And I enjoyed, I would say, 2/3 of this a lot. And then I got to a point when I was like 30 pages from the end of this, and the main character does something that just pissed me off. And again, that week I did almost DNF 3 books. So it could have been just a mood thing, but really it struck me as over the top. And I think it was over the top, and it almost destroyed the novel for me, because a couple of pages later, it starts the wrap up, and it made so much sense, and I really enjoyed the way it went in the end. I think I was satisfied with the way it went, which is why it bumped back up to a 3. So again, this was going to be a 2. I would say I would say from halfway to about almost, it was, well, no, I said 2/3, I was pretty good. And then there's like this little section where I hated, and then I liked the end. So I don't know, it was, I was really disappointed. So I don't know if I'm going to pick up anything else up by her, because I was so mad about that, but we will see. She does have quite a few. I know there's at least Flights that's out. That was, I don't know if, was that a Booker International winner, or maybe it was just a nominated. I don't remember. I remember seeing that one. So I might still try that, but again, that was my most disappointing, because I was expecting to really love it, and I did like a lot of it. It just didn't go so well in the end. So, as a quick thing here at the end, I did participate in 5 read-alongs. That was too much for me, and I will try not to do that next year or any other month ever again. I did participate in the summer fling put on by Sarah at the Bookish Knitter. She was still steeped in books at that time. I did read 7 titles for the month-long readathon, and 4 of those were novella rereads. So this is where a lot of my rereads came from, was for the summer fling. So I still did good. I did 7 titles for a month. So, for romance, I read romance, I just don't usually read that much in a month. So that was pretty good. Then I tried to do the ReadEHthon, which is the one where about Canadian books, or written by Canadian authors. That's the book that I put aside for now. It was just not the right time to read Washington Black. I will get back to it, I promise, but it was just not the time with things going on. And it was right before my vacation, so my mind was worrying about work and other stuff. Then I did Tome Topple, ReadEHthon. I saw that on Kayla at Books and Kayla, or Books and Lala. So sorry. Then Tome Topple put on by Sam at Thoughts on Tomes. Again, I've done this many rounds, so I was able to do 2 tomes for the 2-week readathon, which was really good for me. That's usually what I try to do. I try to do at least 1, but 2. I don't think I've ever quite done the 3, but I get close. But I got 2 on that. The History Challenge, which I saw put on by Emma at A Cup of Books, was the last 2 weeks of the month. I did 3 titles for that. So that was pretty good. That, again, is on history, and that was the best I could do for that, because I was, again, doing Women in Translation readathon at the last week of the month, which I did 3 titles in the last week, with 2 of the books I just showed you. But overall for the month, I did 9 books of Women in Translation, because it was Women in Translation month. So for the month long, I did 9 total, but I did 6 of them before the week-long readathons happened at the end of the month. So really, I did overall, most of my reading was for a readathon or other. I didn't quite calculate that, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty close to, yeah. So, again, I read a lot. In August. I will probably not have a month like that again in a really long time. And that's probably why September has been a little slower for me, because I read so much. So anyway, I hope you guys had a good August and read quite a bit. I hope your September is going well. Again, we are still clouded over with smoke. So I haven't worked for several days, so it's been kind of weird. So well, we'll see if I get to go to work for the last day of the week. I don't know. It's been weird. So Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.